Hello, everyone. Just a day went by, and here I am again talking about the Sun-Uranus conjunction. And I should probably give the title of this video, The Ship of Fools. I just recently went to the Bosch exhibition where I did see this particular painting. And we are actually in a ship of fools. If you look around, the amount of craziness and idiocy that is lying everywhere is really, really scary. 20 years ago, there were certain ideas which were by no means mainstream, and we were laughing at them. And all of a sudden, these crazy ideas became mainstream, became even not just optional, but obligatory for everyone. For instance, gender studies, for instance, that maths is not really a science, and you should, and by the way, it's racist. Everything is racist nowadays. Crazies are leading the world, and I have a hunch that I have this really deep fear, let's put it this way, that the leaders or the powers that be behind the screen would like to toss us back into some sort of Middle Ages existence. Don't drive a car, don't use electricity, don't use fuels, okay, don't heat your house, don't eat proper food, eat insects and worms, don't wash your clothes. This was the recent idea of one of the EU leaders who are totally crazy. Just yesterday, they announced that there's the 6th embargo against the Russians, and we are not going to buy oil. Okay, how does this end the war? That may I ask? How does it end the war that we Europeans won't use Russian oil and gas? How is this a bright idea? I mean, when all our infrastructure facilities are attuned to that, it means effectively that we won't have oil and gas by next year. And how is this going to help us? It's not going to help us. It puts us in a horrible situation, whereas Russia will gladly sell his oil for twice as much. I mean, look at the oil prices. It's ridiculous, okay? And no one speaks about peace. Everyone speaks about giving more weapons and rockets and warplanes to the Ukrainians. How does this happening? Aren't you wondering whose war is this? It's certainly not mine, certainly not the EU's. Ukraine is not an EU country. It's not a NATO country. Why are we even bothering with this? I mean, the whole thing is really ridiculous. And I'm not talking about the people who are suffering the war. I am, because the war should be ending now, and it's going to be even done too late. But everything that the EU and the American officials do is fueling the war. And well, this actually is the Sun-Uranus conjunction. So it's not about earthquake, it's about craziness that is really layered, I mean, just everywhere in the world. Let's take a look at what I call after Bernadette Brady and Darren Gunsberg, liminal space. They wrote a couple of years, maybe 15 years ago, in their wonderful newsletter about liminal spaces. There are actually 3 of them. And what's happening is that here's a constellation Aries, and here's constellation Taurus. And between the last star of Aries and the first one of Taurus, you have a space that is empty, an empty space. And so it's like a threshold. And what Bernadette Brady says, his theory, according to her theory, is that in such cases, the constellations either below or above the zodiacal constellations are kind of taking over for those degrees. This particular space is between Taurus 5 degrees and 20. So it's actually half of Taurus is in such a liminal space. It's quite fascinating because in karmic astrology, we usually look at signs as they are developing from the previous signs' shortcomings or bad stuff. Aries is, of course, the go-getter, someone who is aggressive, active, willful, and knows what he wants to do, and very fast, of course, and not paying attention to certain things. Taurus, at the same time, is very slow and content and wants to enjoy life and is very creative. So it's an answer to the harshness and rashness of Aries. And what is Cetus? The veil, the celestial veil. A couple of 100 years ago, maybe 300-400 years ago, the veil, the giant veil, was something that terrified all sailors because they had this notion that this enormous, huge sea animal is going to come to the surface and swallow their ship in one. And at the same time, since it is below the zodiac, it signifies a kind of a potential that the subconscious is emerging. Whatever is hiding in the subconscious is going to show itself and swallow us in one. So kind of this is what it is. And actually, this is what's happening in the world. That's exactly what's happening. The changes that Taurus is trying to bring in our monetary system, in our well-being and our harmony, our safety, that's exactly, it's disrupting. And it's going to be there for in this liminal space for quite a while, actually. So there's at least another year of craziness at hand, for sure. And of course, while Taurus is in, while Uranus is in Taurus, we can see the disruption of everything that is valuable and nice and beautiful, and that's what's happening. So this is the liminal space, and I copied here the planetarium picture from Solar Fire. As you can see, the Sun and the Uranus glyphs are just merging. You can't even actually see what they are. That's why I put here the that this is a Sun-Uranus conjunction at Taurus 14 degrees 47. And this is Aldebaran, Alpha Taurus, and this is Hamal, Alpha Aries. And there are two constellations and also two very bright fixed stars at this space. This is exactly where the Sun-Uranus conjunction is. One is Menkar, Alpha Cetus. That is the stare of the veil that is actually looking at you and emerging from the depths of the ocean and threatens you to take over. And Alma, which is Delta Andromeda, the beautiful young woman who is thrown into the sea for the set to swallow her. And of course, luckily, Perseus is saving her, and they get married and live happily ever after. So these two constellations are actually occupying the liminal space between Aries and Taurus. And one is the emergence of the subconscious, with all its terrible monsters, and the other one is the virgin who is going to be sacrificed. You can say that we are the virgins that are being sacrificed in this fight. I found this wonderful picture with the zodiacal constellations and all the others, of course. So here's the zodiac, the path of the sun, the yearly path of the sun. And this is Orion, and here you see Taurus with Aldebaran, and here's Aries with Hamal, and this is the liminal space that Cetus occupies, and of course also Andromeda. So these are the, here you can see it a little bit better, maybe. And here's the autumn sky in Europe. This is Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and that's the liminal space that is occupied by the Cetus, the veil, celestial veil. And this may be a better picture to show you that this between 5 and 20 degrees. That's what it is. Okay. And here's the wonderful picture or painting by Hieronymus Bosch, the ship of fools. That's exactly where we are, my darlings. We are sitting in a ship that is occupied and led, run by fools. That's exactly where we are. And no one seems to do anything, or no one seems to care anymore. The people in Europe are tired. They are really tired. The last 10 years were, or maybe 12 years were, we had a financial crisis. Afterwards, we had the refugee crisis. And then we had a 2-year pandemic lockdown, and now we have the war. So the last 12 years were really, really crazy, completely crazy. And the answers that our leaders are giving to these problems are even more crazier. So this is a controlled chaos. Rest assured, some people are doing this. I mean, the leaders, okay, the powers behind the screens really want to push us back into the Middle Ages. And the question is how we are going to react to it. Thank you for listening, and please think. Bye-bye.